Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking with Fence People, and I think I'd like to title this video basically The Messenger's Conundrum. So, I've largely avoided looking at response to the last couple of videos I put up because I know from experience that my more saucy videos typically don't do well and sometimes elicit strong negative reactions. For example, AS, who's somebody I've interacted with a lot of times in the live stream and stuff, said that she unsubscribed to the channel because of those videos, or one of them or something. This is part and parcel of both my growth and my challenge in general. I experienced in my debate league that I used to be vice president of that after sending a completely correct and honest group email to everybody about the malfeasance of these people that I used to work for a long time ago and their ongoing malfeasance, I was booted from the email group, for violating some league rule about talking about other schools or something. Note that the thing I was talking about, the behavior I was talking about these people doing, was actually bad. Whereas my calling them out on it was simply making people look at something they didn't want to look at, right? My calling them out on it was not within the normal socially accepted approaches to things. I called them liars and miscreants and so forth. So I'm well familiar with the phenomenon of shoot the messenger. I wish I had yesterday. I put those last two videos actually on private because I wish I had yesterday taken a more strategic approach. I wish I had pulled back, sat and waited and thought about it some more. But I'm human too, and I have emotions, and I feel very protective of Rachel, and I feel very determined to work on her behalf, how she sees fit, I get that everybody's going to think, here comes Eric into this people's family and starts acting like the boss or something. And that's not going to play, and that's going to make me be perceived as an asswipe and all sorts of things. For those of you who were bothered a lot by that, I'd ask you first to remember that, again, I'm human too. I get emotional responses to things. And sometimes I am impulsive in those moments. When I'm angry and I feel I have good righteous reason for it and I have just indignation, I tend to voice it. I will continue to voice the messages that need to be voiced, but I want to be more attentive to the FE considerations. Namely, angry ass-whooping Eric doesn't play well with most of the viewers. It's an aspect of myself that I go to periodically when I feel there's been an injustice committed. But the most important thing I want to get across to everybody in this video, to the extent that you're willing to hear and understand what I'm saying, it's that there's an ontological discomfort in the moment that I'm creating in you when I'm being like that. It's preventing you from hearing the words I'm saying. That's why I need to change my approach. But don't forget that whatever my approach is, the words I'm saying is the message. And the words I'm saying regarding Rachel's family are pretty straightforward. It's that I love this woman and I'd like to bring her here to California. And I'd like to have a pleasant conversation with her parents about it.
That's literally it. It was going to be over the phone, which is no big deal either.
And it should be an easy enough conversation.
Yeah, because
she's 34 years old. She's happy if her parents are thinking about this at all, they might be like, hey, Rachel seems a lot happier lately. She seems a lot whatever. It might be things something like that. They at least the first question. I mean, well, look. Imagine, put yourself in their position. Your parents of a daughter who's taking a trip to California to meet this guy and is now calling you saying she's gonna stay there and live there and move there. Now, the conclusion of a parent might be concern or worry. I'll have a lot of questions. It might be making sure that the daughter really feels strongly about this guy or knows who he is or that he can be trusted or any number of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to immediately suggest, as they did, that no such decision could be made by her without consulting them first, that they needed a bunch of information on their terms before they were going to accept this phone call as a phone call between equals. That's a systemic problem of how they're dealing with her. They're not treating her like an adult who has her own interests and will and autonomy. They're not respecting when she says she likes this or doesn't like that at all. I mean, look, I appreciate the fact that they let her live there. She had a place to stay. And I think that's great. Also, her brother's living there. He has a place to stay too. Her parents are giving him the house and making her stay outside in the back patio all day long, outside. The neighbors are embarrassed on her behalf. They know what's going on. Everyone's like, ay, this, why are they doing that to her? Any decent person would ask that question. Why are they doing this to her? And if the answer is because she smoked pot in her room, she's 34 years old. I mean, I get that it's your house, but you're giving it to her brother. Are you treating her with an equivalent kind of care at all? What about her needs and interests? Why is it more important to you that she follow your house rule than that she be treated like a human being instead of a dog? Sometimes dogs have to stay outside because, if the dog poops on the rug, dog has to go sit in the backyard all day, maybe. Even that would be a very harsh punishment for a dog, I think. But mostly what it was that set me off so much is it was clear to me in talking to them that they're very interested in having control over everything. And I get that makes people feel safer or whatever, and they're worried about her or something, I guess. But if they're worried about her, why are they making her stay in the backyard? And if they care about her, why don't they care about what she wants? Like, why they're so sure that she needs to quit smoking pot? They want her to go to a drug rehab program. But she doesn't have any drug problem. They have a problem with drugs, but she doesn't have a drug problem. Why would she go to rehab? Well, because they're not dealing with her as a human being. They don't care about her as a human being. They have their ideas about how she ought to be. And to the extent that she deviates from those ideas, they want to try to force her to adhere to their wishes about who she is. Not about what she does. So what? She smoked pot in her room. Yes, she knew that was the rule, that she couldn't do that. So they're going to say, well, it's about what she did. She knew. Did she? Did she know that if she smoked pot in her room, that she'd get the dog punishment, go out through the doggy door and stay in the backyard. If she did know that, then wow, you set that up ahead of time? You told her ahead of time? If you smoke pot in your room, you're going to have to live outside like a dog. And I will follow through on this threat. Did you say that ahead of time? Did they set that up ahead of time?
Yeah.
They did.
They did, I know.
Okay, I want to make something clear here. That does not make you look better, Rachel's parents. That you have this justification that she was informed ahead of time. Imagine you could also have informed her, if you smoke pot in your room, then you'll have to stay in the closet all day, or we're going to kick you out into the street. Now, and then she smoked pot in her room anyway. Well, she deserves it. They could also say, if you smoke pot in your room, we're going to chain you to the radiator in the basement and beat you with sticks. And she smokes pot in her room. So it's fine for them to do that, right? No. And if they set it up ahead of time, it would seem to be suggestive of a deep wickedness. That they want to see her squirm. They want to see her suffer. They take some sort of sick pleasure in seeing her stuck out in the yard. Am I outraged about this? Yeah. Did I let that outrage cause me to be a little impulsive in my video making? Yeah. But remember, when you shoot the messenger, it may be because the messenger did a bad job. Like, probably I did.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
It was totally warranted. I did not tell Eric anything about their personality before calling. I actually thought that I was going to be pleasant, like probably a little bit naively. But
well, you're not married to your negative previous experiences.
You're right.
So when I point out that these simple truths should be simply consumable by anybody, and we can no reason why we can't have a reasonable conversation, the meanings are true.
Yes, and I did, and he advised me to tell them, like, hey, well, have them look at the channel. And I know that they do, because they're very nosy. But despite, like, all of that, like, he had no, like, preconceived notion of anything.
I was shocked, frankly.
Yeah, literally. Like, you don't get shocked very often.
Even though I had known that she had this sort of, this ridiculous stay outside thing, I just sort of, I didn't know how to process that. I wasn't sure what to make of it. She's 34 years old. I mean, the thing is, that's what kept tripping me out. It's like, hold on. I know plenty of people who live at home a long time, in their 30s, whatever. It's very common these days. But, and I get that if you're living in somebody else's home, you have to live under their rules or something. But I just was like, so let me get this straight. You're not exaggerating or anything. You're not bullshitting. You literally have to stay outside in the yard from 9 to 9 every day. I mean, she could go out into town and stuff, right? But she's not allowed in the house because you got in trouble because you smoked pot in your room. And you're a 34-year-old college graduate who's having to stay in the yard. I just didn't even know how to process it. I guess I sort of left it. No experience, right? I'm an SI user. I couldn't know what to think about these people, even though I'd heard that horrible thing and knew that horrible thing. I didn't know what to think about these people until I actually talked to them, I guess. And if they had been reasonable or pleasant or even cordial or even respectful at all, we probably wouldn't have had much of a problem. It was shocking the amount of immediate animosity they brought to the table. Now, they might say I was the one raising my voice. Well, the fuck yeah, I was. That's what this whole thing of the messenger's conundrum, right? Kimberly used to play that game with me all the time. She provoked me, the messenger of the truth, into huge anger by denying my truth over and over again, refusing to answer questions, ignoring me, pretending as though my words didn't matter or weren't doing anything, until finally I screamed some profanity at her. And then she'd hammer that, "You're calling me names," ignoring everything that she did to get me there. So, look, as a messenger, my job is to get better at not sending out messages in anger in moments of high passion, because those get heard as passion, not as the message. So I need to improve in that area. But at the same time, the core point here is I am a messenger. She's also a messenger. We're that TrioType. That's the TrioType 784 messenger. We like to play. So, we operate in an environment that we assume is going to be play friendly. Yeah. When it's not, we get angry. 8. But once we pass the anger, we return to our core message. The individual must be treated kindly and with respect. Their autonomy must be respected. Communication is important. I need to be able to talk to her parents and not immediately face controlling animosity. I need to be able to have a regular conversation with them. It's quite possible that Rachel will someday bear my child. I don't know if they're interested in having time with their grandchild. I'd be interested in having the grandchild see its grandparents. So this is necessary that we resolve this. And the fact is, while I will, from this point forward, do this in a much more calm fashion, it is going to be resolved in my frame, in my terms, because theirs are bad. That's why. Theirs are bad and mine are good. I care about Rachel. They care about their rules. They care about control. They care about trying to force Rachel to be what they want her to be. They do not care about empowering Rachel to be who she wants to be. So that's the reality I'm dealing with here. And my resolve here is 2 in this video. 1, to say I do understand and take seriously the critiques. I have a responsibility to be a better messenger. I have the ability to be a better messenger, and I don't make good decisions when my emotions are all riled up. So I will try to take that takeaway from this and apply it going forward in the future. My second responsibility is to not be dissuaded from delivering the message that must be delivered, but rather to deliver it in a more effective job so that the messenger, namely me, doesn't get shot and the actual message gets delivered. And I'm really glad I'm with a messenger TrioType too, because Rachel, would you say it's fair for me to say that you're entirely on board with what I'm saying here? I'm not crossing any of your boundaries?
No, not at all. But I do want you to know that, like the arguments that you have, like, in private with my family, like, if you get angry and your voice raises and stuff, is totally warranted. And it's also private. So,
Right. I didn't record that conversation with them. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm not
no. Yeah. I mean, for other people to know, like...
Yeah, well, look, the bottom line is Rachel's been needing and wanting this for a long time. She's been wanting to get something across to her parents that they're not hearing at all. She's been wanting to have this situation evaluated fairly. I suspect that she feels as though they successfully lied to a lot of people and made this about you when it's not about you at all. Look, you're not perfect. I'm sure that they have legitimate complaints about certain things or whatever, but you're pretty close. Like, you're not a troublemaking person. Mm-mm. You don't go around that house over at your home trying to start fights, complaining, right?
Mm-mm.
No, you don't. Well. You probably try to lay low and avoid any kind of conflict if that's your ability. But they want to see you suffer. Mm. They want to see you squirm. They want to know that you've learned a lesson.
Yeah.
And that you finally give in and acknowledge that they're right and do things their way.
It's more like that.
Well, that's not okay. It's wicked on their part. And, you know, that message isn't going away. But I do appreciate the critiques and the comments and stuff because they remind me that I can no longer indulge in feelings driven decision making. And that means when I'm angry, I need to take a step back, cool down, wait, maybe record a video but not publish it right away. Things like that. And I hope Rachel will be able to periodically say to me, easy, tiger, and sort of, you know.
I will.
Because
no, but, like,
I do need to remember that how is just as important as what I say.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you eating that sandwich. I asked Rachel to get herself half a sandwich and eat it. And because, why? I need to watch out for her SI. I'm her SI provider. Otherwise, she won't eat. She won't drink enough. She'll hold her pee forever. Won't get enough sleep. Like last night, we got a good night's sleep.
Yeah. The night before, too.
Yeah,
I did.
You did the night before. I did last night. The night before, I got a good night's sleep while I was sleeping, but it was fairly short, maybe 5 hours or something. Anyway, my message here then is really about messengers and what messages are sent, and how the how and the what of the message are different areas, and they both need to be attended to. And I tend to fail on the how sometimes. But there's one last message, which is to Rachel's parents, which is I really am just head over heels in love with Rachel. And every day, every bit of time we spend together, it just gets better and better. I feel more comfortable, more confident that this is exactly the right thing. That she's really nice to me. I'm really nice to her. We're polite to each other. We care about each other. I'm interested in protecting her interests. If you do care about your daughter, this should make you very happy. Her being with me should make you very happy. I'm going to provide for her. She's not going to need to, well, I don't want her to do anything she doesn't want to do. Her job in life, as far as I'm concerned, if she's willing to take it, is to be my best friend and companion. I think she is very interested in taking that job, and I'm very interested in her taking that job. And I'm a pretty damn good guy. Sometimes I yell at people. Sometimes I scream profanities at my girlfriend's parents. But, sometimes my girlfriend's parents make her stay in the yard like a dog. I don't like that. So, we'll call you again tonight. And we're going to try this conversation again. And hopefully, we'll begin the conversation from this starting point that nobody's ever loved or wanted to have your daughter as much as I do. I guarantee you that. She's probably had a lot of shitty boyfriends, I'm sure. I'm not one of them. And if you care about her, rejoice in our union. Amen.